Hi everyone, welcome to the series of deploying nodes. Today we're gonna capture Polkadot in all its glory, how Zeeve can benefit you in terms of your deployment, managing your nodes, infrastructure, monitoring your nodes, and all those good bits which are very much required for your production grade application. So without any wait, I think we'll get started with it. So here I have the platform. I'm gonna go ahead and log in with an account of mine, and we'll land on our dashboard where we can see a little bit of summary of all of our protocols, all of our deployments that have been there so far. And you can see, I've got a bunch of workspaces, networks, nodes here already. But today we're gonna keep our focus to Polkadot, which is one of our protocols which has been, seeing a lot of community support. A lot of projects are currently been taken on it as well. So I'll quickly just go and show you a little bit of our workspaces. Here you can see I've got a bunch of workspaces created here already, and I'm going to choose our public workspace. To those who are new to our Zeeve platform, workspaces are basically a quick, neat way for you to organize your deployments so that you can utilize them without getting confused in between the nodes, in between the environments or such. So we're gonna keep our focus to public nodes. And before we go ahead with the protocol itself, I'll quickly show you some of our configurations as well, using which we'll be going ahead with the deployment. So if I open our settings and go to my cloud section here, you can see that I have configured some of my cloud accounts already for the purpose of doing your own cloud-based deployment, where you can choose to configure your own account where the nodes will actually be deployed upon. So I have configured, you can see one of my AWS account is present here. And similarly, I've got my DigitalOcean account as well as a GCP account present as well. So we can quickly see Google Cloud as well. So you can see my projects in Google Cloud. I can choose any of these projects when I'm deploying my nodes over them. I'm gonna circle back to AWS, and we'll keep our focus for AWS-based deployments for today's demonstration. So I'm going to quickly go here to our dedicated node section, and you can see, all the current networks that are currently deployed onto my platform. There are various protocols. We've got one for Hyperledger Fabric, Binance, and Polkadot, and as you can see, there's a couple of nodes deployed here already. I'm going to go ahead and deploy another batch of nodes for my Polkadot deployments. So these are all the subscriptions that I have. I am missing Polkadot, so I can go ahead and create a new subscription for Polkadot, where I can select Polkadot here, and I can choose whether I want to have bring your own cloud or Zeeve managed cloud. So let's say if you do not want to have your cloud account configured here, then you can quickly just choose Zeeve manage, and you don't even have to worry about configuring your own cloud account, because Zeeve will take care of all of that and provide you the endpoints at the very end of it, so you can consume them without having any needs to worry about the cloud setup. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly go ahead and buy a subscription. So Zeeve will take me to the payment gateway where I can buy the subscription for it. And I'll quickly fill in all the details, and I'll just see you on the other side for continuing with the setup that we work. So it'll only take a second. Yeah, so we have taken our subscription of our Polkadot node, and I think we can go ahead and set up our network now. So we can see the subscription that has popped up now, and I just select Polkadot here for us to continue. This is an existing network, so I'm going to again go on add network, and I can see Polkadot subscription, which has all the attributes present in it as well, which is Zeeve managed cloud, full node, RPC access, all these bunch of details, and I'm going to go ahead and click here. Here I can fill in all the details. So let's say if I want to name my network something like Polkadot demonstration, I can do so. I can choose the type of the network, whether it should be a main network or it should be a test network. I'm going to go ahead and select main network here. I'm also going to select the deployment type, which is, let's say, native Polkadot deployment. Zeeve does support different deployment strategies based on the kind of protocol that you're looking for. So maybe that's worth a check if you are looking for Kubernetes-based or Docker-based setups. This is a native setup where the VM itself would have the node deployed over it. And here is where I'm going to choose my workspace. I'm going to select public nodes here, and I'm going to go ahead and click the next step. Here I can select all the configurations of mine. So let's say if I want to create my RPC credentials, which should be any different. So I'm just going to call here Sankalp user in it, and I'm going to choose a password, which should be something which aligns with the password policy. And then I'm going to name my node for me to easily recognize it whenever I see it on the console or other places. So I'm going to choose to give it a name here. And this also helps me in the endpoint that is created. This name will also show up there. I can enable which APIs do I want to have on this RPC node externally exposed. So I selected my region, and as I was mentioning, that we also can choose different cloud based on our subscription. And then based on the region I prefer for my deployment, I can go ahead and just click create. So the provisioning time, so I can see that the provisioning has started, initiated the deployment, and it will take some minutes based on the kind of deployment that we have chosen from the cloud side. As well, it will take a little bit time over it to actually start provisioning the nodes. While my node takes all that bit to get ready, if I click here, I can see the network, which is not in ready state at the moment. I can see that my node in the graphical representation. If there are multiple nodes in this network, I can see those as well. And I can see that BlockHeight is still 0 because my node has to still get ready. It has to Zeeve has to deploy my software over my VM and do all this setup. So while this would take time, we have some networks already prepared. We can go ahead and just show you an existing Polkadot network. So this network has 2 nodes present on it, and I can see a bunch of details. So first of all, I can see that my graphical representation shows 2 nodes here. I can see that here I've used my AWS account instead. I can see the region where it is deployed. I can do various actions like stopping the node, restarting the nodes. I can also show the analytics of my nodes, delete the node if I want, and the status of my node currently. So I'm going to click View Endpoint to see what kind of details does it have. Right off the bat, it shows a little bit of details like what is the current block height of my node, and the endpoints that I can use to connect to my nodes as well, and a little bit of example snippet for me to get started on my application side. If I show a bunch of actions here for my network, I can also add more nodes to my network, or I can delete the whole network itself. So I can choose to add more nodes and scale up my network in that way. It will be all deployed within the same region. And if I choose to do so, I can also easily add a load balancer on top of it to make sure that my consumption to my application is highly available in itself. So apart from that, we can also visualize our node's healthiness with the help of Zeeve's inbuilt monitoring. Zeeve does this interesting job of capturing both system level as well as blockchain level parameters. System level parameters that includes the general details like CPU, RAM, swap, rootfs. You can see a lot of bunch of details that are being showed here for my node that I've deployed. And if I go ahead and see the blockchain details, I can switch over to this tab, and I can see all the details which are very blockchain specific. So these parameters are very specific to the blockchain protocol at hand. So you would find that this dashboard here would vary from protocol to protocol. For Polkadot, you can see, we are seeing height, target, sync target, finalized best, the binary details, all the details, good details that our binaries export are being able to capture here. And we can even see the number of peers connected to our node. So let's say if there's a certain drop into our connected peers, we can see it here in the graph. And this is how we can monitor all of our blockchain parameters. You can see that any transactions which are in the queue and still have to be published over the network, we can also check them out. So a lot of good details present here for blockchain bits as well. One mention that we should have here is that Zeeve also provides you a lot of notifications and alerts based on these good parameters again. It has certain thresholds based for every parameter. So let's say if your number of peers goes down a certain threshold, it will notify you over emails and in-app notifications and such. So you're always on the top of your node deployments, and you are always aware of what is happening with your network, your node, if it is healthy or not. So whether it's lack of CPU, RAM, disk, or the number of peers, failure in RPC connections, Zeeve is able to notify you on both system level as well as blockchain parameters. For blockchain parameters, those parameters are again very blockchain specific. The alerts would be very specific to Polkadot, while for Ethereum or Fabric or any other protocol, those parameters would be different altogether. But again, they would be for the best of that protocol, so we can always notify you for your needs. And yeah, that's about it. We can go ahead and manage a network, we can delete our network, we can consume our nodes and networks, and it works as any other RPC endpoint. You can configure it with a secure endpoint. So Zeeve, ensures the best-in-class security for your nodes, so that you don't have to worry about any compromises on your machine. It has very standardized deployments, so you deploy your node in the same way all the other people around the globe that use the platform deploy their node as. So all the security patches, maintenance of your nodes, binaries, pruning of your nodes, everything is well managed by Zeeve in itself. And our Zeeve support can, at very best, help you in whatever kind of architecture needs your project needs to fulfill for Polkadot. So these are all the details, and I think, this is about it. If there are any doubts, questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are pretty much present on any social platform, and I would recommend that you start signing up and play around with all the services. If you need any help, any hand-holding, please reach us out to all our social handles, our support channels, our support team, our support staff. We have a good presence on Discord and elsewhere as well. So yeah, and thanks for everybody for joining in. We hope to wish you very happy new year from Zeeve's side, and I would suggest that subscribe to our channels and continue to see our series and wait for your blockchain protocols if you have any interest, or just jump right in and do a deployment yourself and see. We've got a very good documentation available for you guys to help you guys deploy on your own, but in case you need, just hold on. We're trying to launch a lot of our web series videos as such as this one. Thank you for joining in. Bye-bye.